Hello, I am Keyflame. I swear I am not mainly a Helliverse channel. It's just with Hazbin Hotel and Hellavabos I just find gold constantly. And this time, I think this is my best theory on the Helliverse dissertation yet. Now, what do I mean when I say this is the best of the Helliverse dissertation series? Well, firstly, I'll just say that just because I think it's the best doesn't mean you guys have to think it's the best. You can say it's the worst, runner-up, go off and share your opinions in the comments down below. All I ask is that you justify why, you know? Because reading comments that just says it's not good and like there's no explanation, that just kind of sucks, you know? Anyways, before we get to the actual theory, let's summarize the Helliverse dissertation. Firstly, let's start with the first theory video I've uploaded, simply titled in all caps, Hazbin Hotel Theory, which I now consider part 0.5 to the Helliverse dissertation. In that video, I showcase how VoxTech and the V's made a deal with Heaven where they can use their technology to spy on Hell in exchange for complete safety from the exterminations. And that Alistair made a deal with Lilith where in exchange for great power and potential immortality, I'm still in the water about that, Alistair would do Lilith's bidding. And that when one person owns another's soul, then the person whose soul is owned would begin to mirror the appearance of the soul owner. And with this hidden truth, we learned Alistair owns Vox's soul. Then following up that video, we actually have the first part of the Helliverse dissertation, where we solve where Eve went after she and Adam ate the apple. And spoilers, she turned into the root of evil herself, named Rue. And then I realized that Alistair is the reincarnation of Eve and by proxy connected to Rue. And we also solved the meaning of the Lilith card, and how Alistair owns Lilith just as much as Lilith owns Alistair, although Lilith has more power technically in the relationship. And commenter at Dennis Adventure asked if he was the Antichrist, in which I replied, yes, because with these descriptions, there isn't any way he couldn't be. Then in part 2, we delved into smaller theories I've had, where we learned that the angels can be harmed by anything but can only be killed via angelic weaponry, and the Ars Goetia were angels who rebelled against Heaven in fear of being destroyed by Rue and joined her side, and once they went down to hell they became demon royalty because of this. And commenter at B Darium I can't pronounce that, but you know, just that. I'll leave the name in the video, but you know, so I just can't pronounce that. Although they didn't really directly help me, they indirectly did by helping me go down the path of another realization, that the Ars Goetia aren't just angels, but a larger and more powerful form of cherubs. If you want to hear me go more in depth with that, then go in the comments of that second part. Anyways, then the next smaller theory was on how the reason why the pilot isn't considered canon anymore is because the human world realized hell existed because of IMP and their tomfoolery. And then the reason why the sinners aren't allowed in the other rings of hell is because the sinners were a threat to the Hellborn. That concludes part 2 as we enter part 3, as we learn that VoxTech made a deal with the world's governments to share technology with them, and how VoxTech also made deals with Hell's elites. And a lot more is solved in that theory, but I dare not spoil. I'm also just a bit tired as I'm writing the script, so cut me some slack. And then we concluded the Helliverse dissertation at that point with part 4. Where we came to the conclusion that Serpentius was married to a victim of Jack the Ripper, and out of grief and guilt he killed himself with poison, and that the key to redemption in this world is to go back and do what you couldn't do back then. But why this intro? Well, I'm also here to announce that I'm getting a new laptop. one with a lot more space than the one I'm currently using. And also it's just new, so that makes sense. And this will be the last video I'll ever make using my current laptop. Also, thanks Grandma for agreeing to get me a new one. And I just wanted to make it special. Just because I've only been making these videos for about a couple months starting this year, I've been using this laptop for a long time. And it doesn't have a ton of space anymore. And with these videos kind of getting longer and longer, it's necessary to have that space that isn't available at the moment on this laptop. But yeah, I figured I'd make this long intro as a bit of a tribute to this laptop, and a tribute to this era of the channel. I know I only went through my HELLAVERSE theories, but it was just more on theme to do so. But of course, tribute to all my other theories as well. And not just my theories, but my other videos in general, cause spoilers, I don't just make theories. But yeah, thank you so much for watching up to this point, and hopefully you can all be excited for this new era of the channel. Starting with the next video, of course. At this point in time, I have no idea what it'll be. Anyways, let's get to the actual theory. 6 minutes into the goddamn video, I apologize. Anyways, so, something I've been recently curious about is Stolas. Specifically, his job and role in the Ars Goetia. From what we hear, his job is to basically read and watch the stars, to see what prophecies they hold. But, wait, who is writing these? Is it God? I don't think so. Because if God did, then wouldn't God not like what's going on with the Has-Been Hotel and try to stop it? And also, Adam straight up dies. Wouldn't he want to stop the deaths of not just Adam, but some of the exorcists as well? Okay, so let's break this down. So, if God is doing this, he would write these prophecies with the stars, and just ignore the fact that Lilith rallies up the Hellborn, Adam's death, and Charlie's rebellion. And if you will argue that he's on the side of Charlie, why wouldn't he intervene with the exterminations? And how Sarah agreed to it? And with Blitz saying Christ on a stick, it tells us Jesus exists in this world. And if Jesus exists in this world, then God has to exist as well. So God clearly isn't writing these prophecies. There are too many plot holes with that idea. But then, who's left? Well, let's think about these prophecies in the sky again. Maybe it can give us a clue on who it could be. They are changing stars and their placements in space to tell the future to those who can accurately translate it. So this person has the power to change the placements of the literal stars and can see all of time itself to accurately give these prophecies. So, who fits the bill? No one. I've thought about it, and there is no one who fits the bill. Not in Has-Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss. And any potential candidates have too many plot holes going on for them, like Rue for example. So I guess I really did think too deep into this. Maybe there is no answer. So I guess that concludes this theory. Thanks so much for Holy sh**. Oh my god. I just realized what the issue was. We were looking in the wrong place. But before I get to that, I need to explain something. Very recently, Colin's voice actor went onto Reddit for a Q&A, which I'm interested in doing in the future, but we'll see about that. Anyways, there was a question on if God exists in the world in the comments. And he said, yes, and she's very tall. Sorry if I messed that quote up at the end there, but I'm going off of memory. But yes, you heard that right. He said she. So has God secretly been a goddess the whole time? Well, probably not. Because would Spindlehorse Toons, aka the animation studio behind Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel, allow him to reveal that big a bombshell in the Reddit comments? Very unlikely. I mean, we have seen several companies reveal very big bombshells so casually, but this still feels off. So, what's going on? Is God a man or a woman? Well, the God as we know him is a man. But there has been a secret goddess the whole time. One who has been controlling the universe from the outside and changing the stars or originally positioning them into positions that can be translated into prophecies that reveal the future. And who is the secret goddess? It's Vivziepop. It's Vivziepop. No. The founder of Spindlehorse Tunes. This makes so much sense. The stars can be this way because the animators are literally just all of Spindlehorse Tunes. Because the animators and literally just all of Spindlehorse Tunes made them that way. And honestly, although I'm leaning more towards the secret goddess being Vivziepop, I also think it could be a pantheon. A pantheon whose leader is Vivziepop. And the others in the pantheon would be literally everyone working at Spindlehorse Tunes. Animators, scriptwriters, voice actors, etc. And I think the reason they're just referring to her is because that's kind of what we do in real life. With a lot of animated properties and studios, we don't say the individual names of every person who worked on it. We usually say whoever directed it or whoever's more famous. Like, for example, Walt Disney. So I think it makes sense to only really refer to Vivziepop with this. And it makes even more sense when you realize that Spindlehorse Tunes literally brings this world to life. The scriptwriters write the events that transpire. The animators literally shape the world and bring it to life. The voice actors bring voices to the characters. Everyone contributes to bringing this world to life. That is literally a pantheon. But why have the star prophecies to begin with? Well, take a look at this.
Hey, is there a way I can come with you guys this time?
Absolutely not. I forbid it. Not gonna happen. Sorry, sweetie. Spring break is no place for young, vulnerable goth girls. You know, the kind of freaks up there who drool all over you.
Fucking love putting my name on shit. Shit's the best.
It's a solution to our biggest problem.
Ah, herpes. Yeah, that's a bitch.
No, our other biggest problem.
Oh, ugly people? Math.
They have been trying to tell us the whole time. The truth is that I think some characters are aware they're in a show for comedic effect and for moments like these, and that others aren't aware, and that the star's prophecies also contain this truth and most likely many more. This is why lives in Helllavaboss are taken so comedically. Like, people are dying left and right in this show and no one bats an eye. It's because they know the truth. They know they're simply animated characters for our entertainment. And as a coping mechanism, they treat their situation comedically and no longer bat an eye at death. I was originally going to say that everyone was aware they were in a show, however, this cannot be the case. Because in the Hazbin Hotel finale, the characters are legitimately sad at Serpentius' death. But if they if they were really aware they were just in some show, would they be this sad? Who knows? Wait a minute. If the Spindlehorse Tunes pantheon has power over all time, then the pantheon is the Greek god of time himself, Kronos. But that begs the question: what does the god do in this world? Like, he does exist, but it seems like the Spindlehorse Tunes pantheon controls everything. So what's his job? I think he's the one who is simply in control of the world itself, making sure nothing goes wrong while the pantheon handles everything from the outside. So basically, he's an inside man. And dear God, while making this script, I just remembered the character Brandon Ragers, who is a literal parody of Brandon Rogers, a voice actor on the show. And even the Shrek reference could theoretically be tied in with all this too. Also, I think the Spindlehorse logo could very well be the Pantheon itself. And dear God, Blitz has an unexplained love for horses as of now. I'm not saying that's actually tied into anything, it's just a funny coincidence. And this is where the theory actually ends. And what do you guys think of this thumbnail design? It's actually one of the first ones I've made using Adobe Express. I originally used Canva to make my thumbnails, but sadly some things just didn't end up working, so I switched to Adobe Express. It's harder to use, but Canva wanted me to pay for a subscription to use the background remover, which is really necessary for me to make these thumbnails. But yeah, hopefully you all like this video, and hopefully this is a nice conclusion to my old laptop series. I might just make a playlist of all the videos I've made on this laptop, and then start a new playlist once I release the first video on the new laptop. I think I'm either going to do a Q&A or make a video delving into how I make these videos and the process I use. And yes, I have a process. But yes, comment any questions you have below and I'll answer them in a Q&A. You can ask any question you want with no limits. So you can ask 1, 5, 20 questions, I don't care. Also keep in mind that I won't answer every question, just the ones that I'm either interested in answering or are inappropriate. But yes, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate you all. Have a lovely day, and until next time. Also, YouTube shoutout goes to Sips Tea.